Hi, welcome. If you've just joined, we've just started. You're on your mat in your 4-point kneeling. So hands under shoulders and knees under hips. We're just breathing to activate that deep core. So you're inhaling to release. As you exhale, lift that pelvic floor, lift your belly up to your spine, wrap your core. Nothing moving in the spine. This is pure, deep muscle work. It might all feel very weak, especially if you're very early stage postpartum. Do not panic, you will get it back. It's that mind, body, muscle connection. Inhaling to release, find your own pace. Exhaling, zip, lift, belly up to spine, wrap. I'll take a couple without talking so you can see my belly a little bit more, which you should be able to see since I've got baby there. So as I inhale, I'm releasing. Exhale, really lifting it up, okay? So belly button, bump up to spine. Inhale, release. Exhale, lift the pelvic floor, belly up to spine, wrap. Good. If that's all just like not making sense, just practice that as much as you can. It's literally stage 1 in your kind of rehab postpartum, okay? Let's take a cat-cow. So breathe in to prepare, breathe out, tuck the pelvis underneath you, curve the whole spine, get a lovely back stretch, separate your shoulder blades. Breathe in to reverse that movement. Breathing out into your cat. Don't worry if you're not with me on any of the movement today, finding your own pace. I'm just a guide. Breathing in to reverse, gently lift the chest. Good, breathing out, tucking the pelvis, scooping the belly button up to the spine. So even though this movement is primarily to kind of stretch the back and wake the spine up, we can always bring that deep core activation into it. Always on that exhale, scooping up. Last one. Breathe into reverse. And then find your tabletop back for me. So nice, what we call neutral spine, sit bones point straight behind, lift the tummy up to the spine, pop the right hand behind the head, let's twist our spine. So twist your right elbow to your left forearm, and then open the right elbow up to the sky, opening through the chest, push the floor away, lift, getting that lovely rotation through the mid-spine and the chest. Just find your flow on this, elbow to forearm, find your breath. So if you're doing lots of baby holding, nursing, picking up the kids all day, this kind of upper and mid spine and chest area tends to get super tight, I know. So let's really open it up here through this rotation. Do one more on this side. You're trying to keep your hips square, ladies, okay? So as you open that right elbow to the sky, try and keep that right hip bone facing your mat. Good, square that off. Right hand goes down, left hand goes behind your head, other side. So left elbow to right forearm, and then opening up. Good, keep that moving. I'm just going to check one more time. There's no one waiting in the waiting room. So just keep that moving for me. No, we're all good. Good. So take 1 or 2 more there. Just make sure you've evened up on that second side, elbow to forearm, and then opening elbow up to the sky. Oh, get that lovely rotation. Open through the chest. Good, pop that hand back under the shoulder. Okay, we're going to take our opposite leg to arm stretch. Let's just start with the legs. So breathe in to prepare like we did at the beginning, lifting the belly button up to the spine. Stretch that right leg behind you in line with the spine. Don't lift that leg too high that this happens, that that lower back overarches, or that that hip lifts. Square hips. You're trying to lift your belly button up to your small of your back and keep this nice neutral low back. Lower, slide in. Breathing out to lengthen and lift, really focusing on lifting that tummy up to the small of the back. Okay, so imagine my hand is in the small of your back. Just keep alternating sides, ladies. And as you lift that leg, trying to draw that tummy up to touch my hand in the small of your back. So it's that really strong drawing up sensation. If you want to, and you can, you add the opposite arm in. If that's too wobbly, you leave the hand on the floor. Find your pace that you can control this form. Lovely strong exhale on the lift. Inhale to slide back in. Square hips, okay? That leg that's lifting, that hip bone stays facing your mat the whole time. Let's take 1 more on each side. And last one, just even up your sides. Good. Okay, we're going to come off the arms. We're going to come onto our back. So lying on your back, I'm going to take some more basic core activation work, a little bit of glute activation. So rolling down, find your mat or your space. Knees are bent, heels are in line with your sit bones. So you're really finding that true hip width, level hips. Okay, so I want you to press. I don't know if you can see the small of my back. I'll move the arms out the way. Breathe in. As you breathe out, I want you to try and use your tummy muscles, especially your lower tummy muscles. And you can put your hands on your tummy to do this. Try and use them to imprint the low back into your mat. Okay, so breathing in, as you breathe out, try and use those tummy muscles to draw down the small of the back into the mat, okay? The connection is really coming from those low tummy muscles. Hands on the low tummy can really help with that, okay? So now we're going to take some knee folds. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out, draw one knee in. Breathe in to bring that foot back to the mat. So this is very simple. It's a very kind of beginner level exercise, but to do it properly, I don't want anything to move in your low back. So the low back's not coming away from the mat. And you're using the low tummy muscles to bring that knee up. You're not just kind of flopping it up, if that makes sense. So exhaling, low tummy down to mat, that's what draws the knee up. Inhale just enough to release the foot down. Alternate. Hands can stay on the low tummy if it helps. They can release to the floor. If you want, you can even take them off the floor if you want to. I'll keep mine off so you can see my small of my back and my low tummy a bit better. Exhaling, low tummy draws down. If you had a C-section, ladies, this can feel even more challenging to get that connection to the low fibers of the deep abdominals, okay? So just keep going with this really concentrated breath work into your low tummy, trying to activate those deep core muscles in your low tummy area. Keep going with this if it's enough, rest if you need to. Otherwise, you're going to take this into double knee folds. So one knee comes up, and then that second knee comes up harder, obviously. And then one goes down at a time. Arms are firmly on the floor or on the tummy or in this shoulder drop position. So with the breath, you can breathe out to bring the knees in. And then you could breathe in and then breathe out to take them down. Alternate the knee that comes in first. Breathing out to bring those knees into what we call tabletop, breathing in, breathing out to bring them down. If you feel this is too much, if you can't control it, if the low back's starting to pop away from the floor, you need to stick with those single ones, okay? These are all very progressive, so if you keep practicing, the stronger you get, the more you'll be able to progress them. Okay, we're going into the third progression. Rest if you need to, keep going if you can. Bringing those knees into that tabletop, we're going to toe tap. So breathe in to prepare, breathe out, tap one toe down, breathe in to come back to tabletop, alternate that toe. Okay, so again, hands on the lower tummy if it helps, drawing those tummy muscles down towards the mat as you tap that toe. If you find that back is popping away from the mat, don't go as low, you just go as low as you can with that leg before you feel that happening. Good, we're nearly there. There's one last little progression for those that want to. Rest if you need to. Like I say, I do not know what stage you're at. So don't worry if this is some of the first really concentrated core work that you've done postpartum. You'll probably find it really tiring. And you'll have to slowly build it up. Good, last progression for those that can and want to. Stretch those hands above the shoulders. We're going to stretch the opposite arm to leg. So this is obviously even harder. So that leg is now fully stretching. Again, strong exhale. The lower the leg goes to the ground on this one, the harder it is. It doesn't have to go as low as mine. Keeping that small of the back pressed into the mat. You might now need to think a little bit higher up the abs, make sure those ribs aren't flaring. So as you exhale, you're drawing those lower tummy muscles down. You're wrapping the ribs together, knitting them together, drawing the belly button down to the spine. It's like you've got a corset around your whole torso and it's tightening on that exhale. Last one, just even up your sides and then give those knees a hug in. Let those hip flexors switch off. They might have been gripping just a little bit. Let's massage through that low back. So just have a little rock from side to side. Well done. If you did that whole series, that's a lot of concentrated deep core work. So well done. So feet are coming back to the floor. We're going to take some glute bridges. So heels nicely in line with your sit bones, hip width. I'm going to move my arms out the way so you can see my spine, but you can have yours on the mat. Breathe in to prepare, breathe out, press through your heels, squeeze your butt muscles, lift your pelvic floor, zip it up inside you, and then lift the hips off the floor, pressing the floor away, lift the low back, lift the mid back, lift the upper back, all the way up to your shoulders, to your full glute bridge. Breathe in at the top of your bridge. As you breathe out, see if you can see my spine. Rather than lowering the spine down in one piece, you're going to try and articulate through your spine. So you're scooping through your tummy, you're getting the top of your spine down first, then the middle part of your spine, and then the lower part of your spine. And this is coming from those low tummy muscles, and then the pelvis. This is hard, okay? So it's not really like a fitness glute bridge where you just lift and lower. It's Pilates style, which is harder. So breathing out to wheel up through one section of the spine at a time. And what this does is it really makes you focus in and connect to each part of the core, the deep core, as you try and move that spine. Breathe in at the top, breathe out, wheeling down, top of the spine, mid-spine, belly button draws down to mid-spine, lower abs draw down to low back. Release, just find your pace, let it flow. Breathing out to wheel up. Breathing in to hold, squeeze those glutes. Breathing out, top of the abs, get the top of the back down, middle core gets the middle back down, lower core gets the lower back down, okay? 2 more sets. Breathing in at the top, hips are level. So you're trying to use that exhale to connect to those deep core muscles to move the spine. Okay, on this last one, ladies, hold up at the top of your bridge if you can. Okay, hold it there. Arms are on the floor. We're just going to lower the hips a tiny bit, press through the heels, squeeze the butt to lift back up. Really small, lower and lift. Lower, lift, lower, lift. Zip your pelvic floor up inside you. So it's like you're lifting it up towards your belly button. So you're trying to stop yourself peeing, lifting it high up. Breathe in to lower, breathe out to lift. Breathe in to lower, breathe out to lift. 5 more if you can. Burning in those glutes. And 3, and 2, and 1. And then lower those hips down. Well done. Good. We are rolling onto our side. Okay, onto one side. A little set of clams to activate these medial glutes, hip muscles, which need a lot of strengthening postpartum after all of that shifting of our pelvis. So your knees are bent, your feet are in line with your butt is in line with your spine, okay? All you're going to do, hand on the hip, all you're going to do is open up this top knee without letting that pelvis shift back, okay? So put the hand on the hip. The heel of the hand can be in the back of the pelvis, so you can feel that it's not pushing back. So you're getting that kind of rotation at the hip joints, and it's going to be switching on these muscles all around the side of the butt and the hip. 3. Use your exhale and draw that tummy in, okay? Always that deep core activation for when you move, because the control always comes from here, from this deep core. It's going to help you keep the pelvis still, okay? Because if the pelvis is rocking around in this, it's just going to go into the low back. You're not really going to strengthen these muscles properly. 7. These might feel a bit achy here if you haven't really kind of reactivated them yet postpartum. It's pretty normal, don't panic. Let's wake them back up. 10, good, we're going to do 10 more, but with our feet lifted. So lift both feet up like this, and 10 more here. And try and get this nice big diamond shape if you can. Controls coming from here, breathe out, engage, tummy back to spine. Good. You'll feel that the underneath butt cheek can kind of squeeze as well on this one. Try not to press from your feet. Your feet have got a very light touch. The work is all coming from the glutes and the hips. Good. You can band these as well. Okay, when you're ready to add some resistance in, you can start adding a band wrapped around the thighs. Good. 5 more. You've got 10 if you're counting your own reps. Last 4. Breathing. You're getting an ache here. That's good. It's working the right muscles. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. Good. Well done. Same thing on the second side. So just bring yourself over to your second side. There's a whole side lying series that we can build up to progressively, but I'm just introducing a couple of the first exercises today. So feet are in line with your bum is in line with your spine. Okay, so a straight line from your feet, hips, spine, shoulders. 10 reps with the feet down. Okay, so this is your clamshell, if you've heard it called clamshell before. 2. Really wrapping out at that hip joint. 3. And 4. So exhaling, drawing the tummy in to open the knee. Okay, everything comes from here. That's where you're going to get your control. And 6. You might find this aches much more on one side to the other side. Very common, especially postpartum. If you had any kind of postural things going on where one hip shifted up more, tightens more into one side of the hips more, very common. Just become aware of any of those imbalances in your body. Last one here. And then lifting the feet, 10 more reps with those feet lifted. Keep making sure that top hip is still over the bottom hip, ladies, okay? Hasn't shifted forward or back. You can have this hand on the floor on this one, if you're a little bit wobbly on that underneath hip. On the hip if you can. Good. And 6, really rotating out at those hip joints. And 7. And 8. Last 2, rest if you're a different pace to me at 10. Last 1. Good. Hopefully you felt that here. Well done. Come into your 4-point kneeling that we started off in. Okay, hands under shoulders, knees under hips. Tuck those toes under. This might be too challenging if you're earlier on in your postpartum journey, so don't do it if it's too much. Breathe in. As you breathe out, really drawing pelvic floor up, drawing belly button up to the spine. Hover those knees off the floor. Breathe in to carefully place them back down. So I'm not moving my back or my spine. Exhale, lift the pelvic floor, draw your belly button up to your spine, lift those knees off the floor just a tiny bit. Breathe in to lower them back down. It's all coming from the core, ladies. That strong wrap and drawing up feeling, okay? You need it a lot in this one. Let's take 2 more. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in to replace. Last one, breathe out, lift. Can you hold that there for 2 breaths? Don't worry if not, knees go down if you need to. 1 more breath. Good. Lift up through the back of the hips. Let's come back into a downward facing dog. Okay, your feet are hip width. And just pedal through those heels, lengthening, stretching through the hamstrings. They probably feel really tight if you've been sitting a lot this morning so far. So just kind of walking through those heels, get a calf stretch, get a bit of a hamstring stretch. Lifting through the back of the hips nice and high. Scoop up those lower abs, okay? It's like someone's got your belly button on a piece of string. They're pulling it back towards your small of your back. Good. Press both heels to the mat. Do not worry if your knees are bent here, okay? They might be bent, that's fine. Walk your hands back to your feet, sorry. Okay, and then just have a hangover here. Release the head, let go of any tension in the neck, say no a couple of times. And then we're just going to roll up through our spine nice and slowly. So stack your pelvis on your thigh bones, rebuild your low spine, your mid spine, top of the spine, neck, head. Good. I'm going to sneak in really quickly some deadlifts into some rows, okay, just to finish. I know it said 20 minutes on this workout, but I think realistically it's going to be half an hour. I'm sorry. If you need to go, please go. This is recorded, okay? So I think it will go on the Sweat and Milk YouTube channel. So feet are hip width apart. You've got your dumbbells. Keep these dumbbells super light if you are working with your weights for the very first time postpartum. So something like a 5 is probably fine. If you've already been lifting weights a little bit and you've been doing a bit of strength work, you could bring that up to a 10. I've got a 12. So feet are hip width. Deadlifts if you know them. Okay, so we're going to pop the dumbbells to the front of the thighs. Don't let that round your shoulders. Dumbbells at the front of the thighs, but squeeze someone's hand in between your shoulder blades straight away to stay open through the chest. So weight goes into the heels, stick the butt back. The dumbbells slide down the front of the legs. Only go as far as you can before you lose your lower back. Don't let that lower back arch. Press through the heels, squeeze the glute muscles to stand. Okay, so just join in when you're ready. Breathing in, small bend to the knees, but sit back into that chair, hinge from the hips. Breathe out, press through the heels, squeeze the glutes to stand. Breathe in, stick the butt back, slide the dumbbells down the legs. Breathe out, press through those heels, squeeze the butt to stand. And 4. Don't let your shoulders round, ladies, okay? So as you slide down, keep that squeeze in between the shoulder blades so your back muscles are really going to work. This is 5. So control it down, breathe in on the way down, and then power to stand. Okay? And 7. Good. And 8. So it's like you're sitting back into a chair here, weights in the heels. You press through the heels and squeeze the glute muscles to stand. This is 10. If you feel anything in your low back, please don't go as far. And you need more of that core connection. Draw your tummy button back to your spine. We're going to 15. We've got 3 more. 3. And 2. This one's brilliant for that back strength, hamstring and glute strength. Everything you need for holding and looking after a child all day. Last one. Good, and we're going to finish with a set of rows before we do our super quick stretch. So bend the knees, rotate the palms to face each other, okay? Hinge over to about 45 degrees, not all the way to 90, about 45. Again, make sure that those shoulders haven't rounded here. So you see that with my shoulders? I'm going to squeeze that imaginary hand and take those shoulders back already. Okay, row those elbows straight back, tight into the body, squeeze that hand in between your shoulder blades. Resist to release. We're exhaling to row. We're inhaling to resist our release. We're exhaling to row. We're inhaling to resist that release. Good, find your pace. 4. Engage your core, ladies. Belly button back to spine. So even though this is an upper body exercise, we want that core switched on to protect the low of our back. Good. Exhale. And inhale. Keep those arms tight into the body. Doing 15 if you can. Just 5 more if you're with me. 5. Elbows tight into the body. 4. And 3, nearly there. Squeeze that hand in between the shoulder blades each time. Let's really switch those back muscles back on, those postural muscles. Let's go 2 more. Give me 1 more if you can. And release. Good, well done. You could do another set of those 2 exercises if you had more time. I want to squeeze a super quick stretch in for you today. So have your long stretchy band or your towel within reach. Come down to your mat. Let's quickly stretch our glutes and our hamstrings. So lying down, let's stretch our glutes out. 1 foot over the other thigh. Gently push that knee open. Take your hands behind the back of that left thigh, interlock your fingers. The left foot comes off the floor. You pull that left thigh towards you and encourage this right knee to open up as you pull towards you. Hopefully feeling that in the right glute and hip area. Breathe into it. Nice deep breaths. If that was the first time you'd done any of that clamshell work, you might feel a little bit tight here, so this glute stretch is ideal. I won't hold these stretches for too long today just because I'm conscious of time, but when you're stretching in your own time, hold this for as long as you can. You know, you want 1.5 minutes, something like that if you can, if you're not rushing. So it really gives the glutes and hips that time to fully release into it with your breath. Last big breath there. Gently release away. Left foot can go to the floor. Swap sides. Right foot on the floor. Left foot goes over the right thigh. Gently let that left knee open. Hands behind the back of that thigh. Interlock the fingers. Pull the right thigh towards you. You can use this other elbow to push this left knee out as you pull the right thigh towards you. That might be too intense. Don't worry if not. Just gives you a little bit more pull. You can also reach for the shin if you want more. If you had any like pelvic girdle pain or hip issues in pregnancy or in early postpartum, this stretch is a great one, but do just be gentle with it, ease into it gently. Last couple of big breaths on this side. Last big breath. Release away. We are going to stretch our hamstrings. So find your long stretchy band or your long towel or yoga strap. Pop your right foot into the band or left foot, whichever you want to do first. If you can, stretch your other leg all the way along the floor and release that hip. So holding each side of the band or towel, you're just going to push the foot into the band or towel and find your straight leg as straight as you can. And don't worry if it's not high. So I'd rather it be lower down and try and really find that straight leg, okay, than higher and bent, because we want to get that full extension through that hamstring, length behind the back of that knee. And just holding your towel or band and breathing. Try and soften your hip flexors on both legs. Just notice if they're gripping and try and let them soften. I don't have time to stretch the hips out today. You might want a hip stretch as well if you've got any spare minutes after this. Good. And again, don't worry if that leg's much lower. Just really finding that length behind the back of the leg and the knee. 2 more big breaths there. Last big breath. Release away. Let's swap that left foot in, or your other foot, whichever is your second side. Other leg goes all the way along the floor in line with your hip, so your hips are level. And then very gently ease into that straight leg on the second side. No sudden movements with stretching, always slow. Ease into it, use your breath. And breathe. Finding your straight leg wherever that is. Lovely deep breaths. If your hamstrings are super tight, ideally you're aiming eventually, don't worry if you're not there now, eventually for 90 degrees with a straight leg, which is leg over hip. If you're way off that, you just know you need to work on it. Don't panic, just a little bit of stretching if you can, each day or every other day. I know there's a lot of sitting with early postpartum, which can really contribute to tight hips and hamstrings and glutes. A little bit of stretching if you can when baby's napping. 1 or 2 more big breaths on this second side. Good. Gently release away. Hug both those knees in. Just bring yourself to a sitting position. One last exercise. I know I've gone over. I'm so sorry, but I want to finish you off opened out through those shoulders, because I know how much tightness there can be in the front of the chest and the shoulders. So holding your band or your towel, go as wide as you need to, because we're going to go all the way over, okay? So it depends how tight your shoulders are. As wide as you need to hold that band or that towel. Lift it up, breathe in. Breathe out, we're going to go all the way over. So super, super wide on that band or towel, depending on how tight your shoulders are. Holding that directly behind you. Your legs can be wherever they want. You can stretch them out here, wherever. Find those sit bones, sit nice and tall. We're just going to take a few breaths here to finish. Breathe in. As you breathe out, if you've got the band, you can let that band pull, which will give you more of a stretch. If you haven't got a band, you won't get that pull, but you're still getting a good stretch. Breathe in. Breathe out, just releasing through the chest, through the pecs, through the shoulders. You are doing lots of nursing and baby holding right now. This is going to feel like hard but amazing all at the same time. Good, last couple of breaths there. Last big breath. Exhale. Good, and release that band or towel. Roll those shoulders up. Breathe out, roll them back and down. One more time, breathe in, roll those shoulders up. Breathe out, roll them back and down, and give yourself a really big well done. Thank you for staying to the end, those of you that did. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you feel good. If you do have any burning questions, feel free to pop them in the comment box now, or pop your audio on. I've got like a minute or two. If not, you can always email me or DM me, and hopefully see you at the next class. I think next week is prenatal, but it will be confirmed on the sweat and milk profile, so keep an eye on that. There's a chance it might change to postpartum. Thank you, Elena. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed it. Any more? Bye. Have a lovely rest of your day. Thank you.